Hello? Oh, hi. How are you? I guess you're here. Am I right in thinking that you're having a problem? You're having a problem at the minute, possibly with your marriage, and things aren't going great, and you're worried. Maybe, I don't know whether it's your partner. Um, I have no idea what the current situation is, but I think you clicked on this thumbnail because you're looking for some help. Well, hi, my name is Anton. I'm going to try and help you today. So I've got some notes here. I'm going to be reading as I go along because I'm not using a teleprompter. I'm not going to have this whole thing scripted out so I sound like a robot. I'm going to talk to you from the heart. Okay. I have to share a little bit of wisdom. I've got a bit of wisdom to share with you. Hopefully it will help. So you wanted to know, the title of this is Don't Give Up on Your Marriage, and just look at these 10 things first, okay? So, first of all, I just want to start with saying that I went through my parents being divorced when I was 11 years of age, and it was horrible. I have to say it was not nice. My mum and dad just were not getting along, and they decided there was a lot of fighting and screaming and shouting in the house, and they decided that enough was enough, and they were going to get divorced. And I was 11. My mum left the house. I was left with my dad and my brother, and we had to all just basically get on with life. I saw my mum once every few weeks. My dad was very busy at work and did a lot of extra hours overtime. So me and my brother really pretty much had to grow up fast, knew how to cook, iron, wash, clean, do everything at a very, very early age. But you know what? It's wasn't the worst thing in the world, was it? But yeah, it was horrible. And I just remember going through that period, especially at school, trying to concentrate at school and do exams and everything with both my parents splitting up. So I have experienced it, and it's not nice. But what I am coming from is I'm coming from a marriage of nearly 25 years, a very healthy marriage. Don't get me wrong, we've definitely had our ups and downs over the years. We've had the highs and we've had the lows, but we worked through it, and we're here now, 25 years on, and we're I'm ready to sort of help out and share with you some of the experiences that I've gone through, and hopefully it will help you as well. So the other thing I was going to say to you was, in my 50 plus years on this planet, I have pretty much known around about 75 couples, married couples, during that time. And when I say known, quite intimately, like close friends, family, that sort of stuff. And out of those 75 couples, I can honestly say, hand on my heart, it's about three or four that have actually had a successful marriage for sort of 15, 20 years with no issues at all. Like literally three or four out of 75. Marriage isn't like easy. It really isn't. You have to go through a lot. You have to work at it really hard. So I just want to put that out there first before I go through these 10 steps, because you need to know that. You need to understand that. If you've been married 1 year or 2 years and you find it really difficult, I'll say it's normal, but marriages are hard. They are really hard, and you go through certain times. Like there's three what I call red zones in any marriage, and the red zones normally are when you first get married and you first start living together. You might have lived together before you got married, but when you first start being together and getting married, it's financially draining. It's really expensive, and you are suddenly thrust into this world of being with your partner 24/7. There's no going back to your parents' house and him going back to his parents' house, or him or her, whatever it is. And it's difficult. So that is the first sort of thing I'll say, that red zone, and that'll be sort of the first 2, 3, 4 years that you're actually together, living together. The second red zone, which is probably the worst of the lot, is when you first have children. And children are a blessing. They're a wonderful thing if you do decide to have children, and they're amazing. But it's hard, really hard, and it puts a massive strain on any marriage. And all the couples that I know, literally, 95% of them really, really, really struggled when kids came along. Again, financially, it's a big burden. The hours that you are, sleep deprivation, you're just not sleeping normally. One or both of you are at work, the other one might be at home, or both of you are at work, or whatever it is, and you're just like ships in the night. You're not seeing each other, you're not spending quality time with each other, you're exhausted. Kids are tough anyway. So that first, again, probably 3, 4, 5 years of children coming along is the second red zone. And then the third red zone, which is a bit sad to sort of think about it, but it's so true, and it happens quite often, is when the kids leave, when the kids grow up and leave, or you get older. Normally, typically, this will be in your sort of 40s, 50s, or 60s. Suddenly, you are thrust into a life of being just with your partner again. And that's another area that's difficult as well, because you suddenly realize that you might have grown apart a little bit. You weren't the same people as you were when you first met, and a lot of couples get divorced and split up, and it's really sad. But that unfortunately does happen. So they're the 3 areas that you need to pay attention to in any marriage. So let's start with number 1. Okay, so there's 10 things that I'm going to hopefully help you with, to look at, areas to look at if you are struggling in your marriage. You maybe have recently split up, but you want to get back together again. Whatever your situation is, I really hope that one of these 10 things can help. So the first thing is self-reflection. What you need to do is you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself first, what could I have done better? It's very easy. It is a lot easier to look at other people's faults and failures and issues, but sometimes it's really difficult to look at your own. And your own self-reflection really, really can help so much in a relationship. Just take one step back, and think, could I have been more reasonable, more agreeable? Did I maybe fly off the handle with this situation, or could I have done this a little bit better? Or, there's loads of different questions you can ask yourself. And I think self-reflection definitely is one of the first steps you need to look at. And trust me, it'll really sort of put you in a good position to start with by looking at that. And like I said, you don't have to win every time in a marriage. You are going to have disagreements throughout your whole marriage, but you don't have to win every single time. I'll talk about that later on in the video, but that's just one thing I want to say. Secondly, really, really important, probably one of the most important things in any relationship is communication. Communication is the key to long-standing marriage. And, one of the things that I'll say is that, talking to your partner, okay, about the way you feel, about issues that you have, about insecurities, about worries, whatever it is, talk to your partner about it. And I don't mean a screaming match and all this sort of stuff. I mean a proper sit down adult conversation. Take yourself, if you have to, out of the environment of the of the home if the kids are around and you just can't have a proper conversation. But communication, telling your partner how you feel, is absolutely 100% a key to a great marriage. The other thing I'll say about this is if you can't verbally communicate, then another really good exercise which you could do is write a letter to your partner. Actually write it down in a letter and both sit down and then read the letter out to each other. Don't interrupt the person that's reading. Let them read the whole letter, the way they feel, the way they think, what they think they've done wrong or what they think you've done wrong, blah, blah, blah. And just let them read it out. And then you discuss it like mature adults. So communication, don't build it up. It's the worst thing you can ever do. If you are struggling with mental health or, any issues at all, like a jealousy or anything, you've got to let them know how you feel. Next one, random act of kindness. This one's a cool one. This can work out really, really well in your favor if you can pull this one off. Small gestures like flowers, like cooking a meal. If you've got one partner that does most of the cooking, tell them to take the night off. You do it. You'll cook the meal. Let them sit down, chill out. If one partner is has to look after the kids more than the other one, take the kids away. Take them to the park, cinema, swimming, whatever it is. Take them on a bike ride. Take the kids away and let the other partner just relax and chill out and have a bit of time to themselves. So another thing, sorry, I'm just reading my notes here. Where am I? Oh yeah, here's another one. Telling each other how nice they look. Talking, and there's one thing I always say to my wife. If we've had an argument and, we're both a little bit sort of like, quiet and stuff like that, there's one thing we don't do. We do not hold grudges. You see, holding grudges, it's one of the worst things you can ever do in a marriage. It really is. Let it go. Let it go. Don't hold grudges, honestly. Trust me, it will pay dividends. But we tell each other little things like, oh, I love your hair I love the way you've done your hair today, or wow, that dress looks fantastic on you, or wow, you look really good in that suit, or whatever. It could be anything. Just little tiny gestures, a little kiss here and there, a little bit of intimacy, honestly, works wonders. And another really good thing that you could do if you are struggling is talk about what it was like when you first met. What was it that attracted you to that other person? Take yourselves back to that time when you were both completely in love with each other. What did you do? Did you go on holiday together? Was it out drinking in a bar or whatever? Or, were you somewhere else? I don't know where it was, but I'm just saying, go back to when you had that amazing time together, and that works as well. So next one. With the third one of random act of kindness, fourth one, spending quality time together. Book a trip away. Let the parents look after the in-laws, look after the kids, or if you've got a friend or something like that can take the kids away if you have got children. But just spend time with each other. Go away. Take yourself out of the environment of the marital home if that's where all the tension and stress is. Take yourselves away for a night out, go to the cinema, whatever it is, and take yourself out of that pressurized environment. So number 5, toxic friends. I know we all have these amazing friends that guide us and help us and tell us that our partner's not good enough and you're too good for them and blah, blah, blah. I get it. But there is a lot of situations that I've experienced in my lifetime with other people and stuff like that, where friends, they mean the best for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean it is the best for you. So just be aware of friends who are very much in your life, very much trying to help you and guide you and giving you information about what they think you should be doing in your marriage, and stuff like that. Because sometimes it might just be that situation where you're like, yeah, hang on a minute. Why are they telling me all this? I know they love me and they're my best friend or whatever it was. But sometimes these friends just love the drama. Sometimes these friends want you to be single because they may be single. Look at what their situation is like, okay? And then have a little sort of think and reflect on that. I'm not saying, I mean, friends can be amazing in these sort of circumstances if you are having problems, but just be aware that you do get some friends that can be a little bit toxic and they mean to help, but they actually aren't helping at all. So just be aware of that. It's a really good one. And then that brings us on to toxic family members as well. So again, you might have, parents, you might have siblings, you might have, brothers and sisters, you might have in-laws, people like that mean well, maybe, want to, help you and try and think that they're guiding you and helping you, but in actual fact, they're not. They're doing more damage than good. So again, just be aware of that. So next one, number 7. I'm going to speed through these a little bit because I don't want this video to drag on too much. But don't sweat the small stuff. I've said previously in the video about like letting things go. When you get older and you have many years under your belt, you look at all the issues that I had, and arguments and situations that I had throughout my marriage about money, about the children, about school, what schools and, grades and revising and, everything. I mean, there were so many things. We had arguments about holidays and jobs and friends and, the behaviors that we had. And, I look at it all and I go, really? Was it actually really worth all that hassle of screaming and shouting and disruption in the house for something that now seems really petty and small? So at the time, they're massive. I get it. They're big issues. But, sometimes just take a little bit of reflection, take a step back, take a deep breath and go, is it really, really worth all this emotion and stress over that? So don't sweat the small stuff. So number 8, this is a big one, and this could probably be a video on itself, but this is jealousy. Now, jealousy is a big one. I mean, it really is. And it's hard not to tell people not to be jealous. And I have to admit, it's a hard one for me as well, because I've been jealous over the years. It's a natural human behavior, to be jealous. But again, going through my life and the age that I am and being married and everything like that, what I will say about jealousy is that it's not always bad. It's quite, sometimes it's a little bit nice to be a little bit jealous or make somebody jealous because it makes you, know that they want you or you want them. So it's not the worst thing a little bit, but be very careful because it is a very, very dangerous thing and can have devastating consequences. So, I don't think it's ever really good to make your partner really jealous. I know at the time it might seem really the right thing to do, but in general, sometimes it might, but in general, I don't think it really works. Again, if you are in a situation where someone's done something and you're like really jealous and enraged and everything, again, just take a step back, okay? And let some time pass and then make a decision on what you want to do. Because irrational thinking always occurs when you're in a heightened state of emotion. Okay, you always think irrationally when you're in a heightened state of emotion. So take the emotion level down, take the heightened state down, and then you'll be able to think a little bit more clearer, a little bit more calmer and smoother. Okay, and then number 9, lose the battles to win the war. I sort of alluded to it earlier, really. What I mean by this is, sometimes it's actually good to forgive somebody if they've done something wrong. Learn to forgive, because forgiving is such a powerful thing to do, and it lets you go as well. So don't ever throw away a marriage over a kiss or some money or stuff like that. It really, in the long run, losing a little battle here and there, I don't mean all the time, but losing a little battle here and there makes you win the war. The war of being married, but you know what I mean? It helps your marriage if you lose the battle here and there. Sometimes the short end of the stick isn't the worst thing in certain scenarios. And the last thing, we can talk about intimacy and stuff like that, which is hugely important. But I'm gonna end up with end this on teamwork. Marriage is about teamwork. And teamwork. Marriage is a commitment. It's a bond of love, trust, and respect for the other one. When you get married, you declare your vows in front of witnesses and declare your love in sickness and in health. And that's what it's really all about. It's a bond that both parties sign up to. And it's hard. Marriage is hard. It's not easy, especially when you're going through those red zones that I talked about earlier in the video. But work together as a team. Work together as a team, and you can get through it. Sometimes grass is not always greener on the other side. As you think that you might be better off with another partner, and do you know what? Sometimes that's true. Sometimes that is true, but a lot of the times I've experienced people splitting up, getting divorced. They meet a new partner, everything's amazing for a few months, and then the realization sets in that maybe the grass isn't as greener as I thought it was. I'll leave you with this thing that's somebody told me about years and years ago, who went through a really messy divorce, and I just think it sort of sums up the whole thing. Divorce is like throwing a big rock into a pond. At first, there's a big splash, water everywhere, big loud noise. You can see it from a distance. That's what divorce is. It involves two people, two families, and initially it's very disruptive. But when the rock disappears into the water, and then the waves start to appear, and then they gradually get smaller and move themselves out towards the edge of the pond. That's what divorce is. Because divorce doesn't just affect the two people involved, maybe the kids, maybe not the kids, but it doesn't just affect them. It then affects all the family members and all the friends, all the close friends that maybe the two of you met together. You have to decide who you're going to spend time with. And it just affects work colleagues. And the ripples just go out further and further and further. And divorce is a devastating thing. And as I say, I sort of witnessed it firsthand when I was involved in my parents getting divorced. So that's what I sort of summed it up really with this rock getting splashed into the water, and then just the ripples slowly out towards the edge. So I'm hoping that one or two of these areas that you can look into, and if it helps in any way at all, then this is what I made this video for. So I hope again this has helped in some way. Please reach out, leave a comment below. If there's anything else you want me to discuss in a further video, maybe elaborate a bit more on anything I've discussed here, then please let me know. And like and subscribe this video. And as I say, I'll be doing loads of videos about all sorts of things, because that's what my channel is. Let's talk about life. And, my name's Anton, and thank you so much for listening and watching. Take care. Bye.